Support Pro Play Games on Patreon.
What's up guys, Fenrir here / Carlos, another deck profile for you. This time we're going to do Dragon Links. I feel like there's a lot of, everybody wants to play it because it looks cool and there's not really a nice build for it yet. We saw Dorbic top recently, but that's just Dorbic. We want to do the other dragons too. Alright, so let's start. So for the eggs, I've seen this run around a little bit, but there's always backs and forths for it. I don't think there's any other egg you can run here because a lot of your stuff has an on play. You're going to want to use the on play. I feel like I on play my champions more than I digivolve into them. So my 4 eggs are just a small draw engine. We're playing the 4 GGs into the rookies, the Geels. So every promote is a draw 2 if you time it right. If you don't, if you feel like you got to build in the back, you're not gonna regret it. You're really not. You're missing out on an egg effect. The egg effect, realistically for red, your choices are the Guri to draw 1 or like maybe an extra 1k DP. I don't think like you're gonna get much value besides this. Continuing with the rookies, probably the most important rookie, Agumon, because you need to see your Tamers. If you don't find your Hinas, then this deck basically does nothing, which means it kind of hurts if they all go off the field, but the more Hinas you have, the more pop in your level 6 effects are going to go. So Agumon's important. He finds not just your Hinas, but any Tamer off top 5. Alright, and then the last rookie you're running is Dorbicmon. I would run the black one because the your turn effect is just a gain of memory when you play a Hina. But the Dorbicmon is there because he's red and he's a searchable rookie. He has to be red for a champion that I play. Alright, champions. Jazardmon. Again, the black line is usually better than the red line because the inheriteds are all an extra 1000 DP. When you get to your level 6, the extra 1000 is important. That's why I don't really mess with the eggs, but on these guys, for sure, the extra 1000 is super important. You on play, search your dragons, you can search your entire line. There's a couple things you can't, but for the most part, it doesn't feel that bad when you on play for 4. You're usually choking your opponent to 1, so that always feels good. The next champion is just the red counterpart. The exact same card with the exact same reasons. Only difference is the inherited effect. The inherited effect to pop something with 3k is kind of relevant because sometimes you can swing with your level 5s that have on plays, pop the Psychmon, and then you use your Dorbicmon to go for game. And that always feels good. Now, the reason that I was playing the red Dorbicmon and not the black rookie for the deck is for the Flare Mons. So the Flare Mons all say inherited. It's been errated, so it's not exactly what it says, but inherited, draw a card. If you're swinging with a dragon or a sword, you're gonna draw a card and your entire deck is dragons. So every swing is a draw one. And when you get into your Dorbics later in the game and you have to ditch 5 cards out of your hand, you're going to be thankful that your hand has a ton of cards in it. Okay, moving on to your ultimates. Jazzerique. Honestly, more useful than the other guy for a lot of reasons, but I feel like it's just de-digivolving is so strong. There's just nothing in the game right now that can stop you from de-digivolving. So de-digivolving and then playing your Tamer if you already have a Tamer feels good. You're triggering all these on-play effects when you're digivolving as well if you already have your Tamer. That's the gimmick for the deck. Besides that, having just an extra 1 check is awesome. All of your level 6 are going to be doing 1 check. If you go into the Volcanic Dramon for your level 6, that guy is trashing a security and then doing 2 checks. That feels so good. The counterpart, I don't think it's as good as the black one, but it's just nice to have it, is Dorbicmon. Not going to try to say that again. He on play, or when digivolving, if you have your Tamer, you can delete something with 5k or less. So again, remove a floodgate. It's usually in your way, and then play another Tamer. The inherited effect, I think, is better on your opponent's turn, just because it's in all turns. When one of your opponent's Digimon is deleted, you gain a memory. That is your turn when you delete it, and on your opponent's turn if your opponent himself deletes it. So if your opponent uses a calling with intent to put you to 1 or with intent to like pop something and make the calling free, the calling costs an extra now. All right, moving on to your level 6, where the deck really pops off. And I feel like a lot of people have to do a 4-4 split. I don't think it's necessary. So for the big boys, we're just doing a 4-2 split. The de-digivolve your opponent's entire field is just way stronger than clearing their lowest DP. I feel like de-digivolving, it's just amazing. And then forcing them to have to swing to be able to digivolve with the other effect, it's incredible. So you're gonna de-digivolve your opponent's field. They're gonna become a level 5. You're not gonna pop it. Oh well. But now they can't digivolve unless they go sideways. And this guy's got reboot blocker. So on your opponent's turn, he's just gonna go like this. If your opponent wants to digivolve, he has to sacrifice the guy. Volcanicdramon, for the same reason I said earlier, he just, when attacking, trashes the security. Feels amazing. And then 2 checks if you got the Jezreek. Otherwise, the effect that you get from him when digivolving / on play with your Tamers, you get to delete all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. That can be kind of nice. The reason I cut them down is because Bloomlord will most of the time have their big guys, and they'll have their guys with 3k, but they usually drop something in the middle in between turns, so you're not going to be able to just trigger it twice. And I feel like 2 Hina is kind of the standard. You float at around those 2 Tamers to trigger your effects. You're not always going to see them all. And if you're sitting at 2, the effect that he gets from not being able to pop the guys is just your opponent's unable to play something with 5k DP or less. But how often are you not going to be able to wipe out the lowest DP of your opponent's field? You know, I feel like that trigger's not going to happen just as often. So he's here for the aggression, but I just don't think he's as strong as a control piece as Metallicdramon. All right, and your last level 6 is Dorbicmon. Very shiny Dorbicmon. This guy is beautiful. The Digicross 2 with 5 different dragons means that your entire deck is Digicross material. If your opponent's floating at like 2 life, maybe 3 life, you drop a Dorbicmon, immediately on play, you delete one of their guys with 13k DP, and you can rush to do 2 checks. 2 checks if you have your red tie, and 3 checks if you have the level 5 that inherited gives +1 checks. That feels so good, but that's what you want to draw, because if this guy's your ender, you want to have a lot of cards in hand so that he's not just the end of you. So moving on to Tamers, like I showed, you play 2 red tie. Again, I'm pumping the Volcanicdramon and I'm pumping the Dorbicmon. I've seen the other optimal choice really would be Hero if you want extra DP, but I feel like the value off another check is better than extra DP because your opponent's Digimon are getting removed by your effects. You're not usually going to be choosing to swing over them. The extra 1 check just feels essential to finishing off the game. And of course, the most important Tamer, the most important card in the entire deck has to be the Hina. It feels really bad when you go into Black War Gray and they just make them unexist. But when they flip a Koromon baby, you just gotta know when to time them out. You just gotta time them out right. But it feels really strong to drop a Hina, go into your level 6, tap the Hina, and like either de-digivolve their entire field or pop all of their Digimon with the lowest DP. That feels incredible. I mean, on top of that, it also does 1 extra memory for your opponent. Like on your turn, if your opponent has a Digimon, they just have a Digimon. That can also feel good. So if there's a situation where you just get to 3 Hina, you can just hold off on the ties for the rest of the game. You just don't need them. All right, moving on to the options, and there's only 4. I only think you need 4. Fireball, draw 2. It's pot agreed, dude. I don't think you need anything else. Just nice, simple draw 2. If they have a 3k on the field, most of your inheriteds delete a 3k, so you can proc this forcefully to draw you 2. You almost never want to just pop a 3k. It just doesn't feel good. And Crimson Blaze, because I think it's the best red card in the game right now. Everything in the meta is going like Jesmon, Bloomlord, the random shout player that's trolling out there. He's gonna lose to Blaze. And Crimson Blaze just instantly wins into purple. You time the Crimson Blaze right, and you can put the purple player to 6 memory. Who cares? They're not gonna do anything because they can't play anything from their trash. They just lose. All right, and that's the profile. It's not mega competitive, but I honestly say it's such a fun deck to play when you bring out your level 6, or like you bring out the shiny Dorbic and you just go sideways, 3 checks, rush. Like that just feels amazing. That feels amazing. All right, guys, keep gaming.